Today I'm going to talk about rhythm guitar, and specifically in the context of funk music. And we're going to take two examples. One's going to be a classic funk song with a great rhythm guitar part, and the other is going to be a modern funk song. So what I want to do is kind of tease apart two different types of rhythm playing, and this doesn't just apply to funk music, but it is on really nice display in the two songs that I'm going to cover today. I'm not going to actually play along with the songs just because of copyright violation and YouTube and everything, but I am going to demonstrate the different parts of the songs and show you these two fundamental styles of rhythm playing that, like I said, apply to other styles of music as well. So often this is kind of a balancing opposites of types of guitar parts, and that would be your more riff-based approach, which is playing like a single note line that carries a rhythm. And this is different than like a lead line that's playing something more melodic. This is like a foundational rhythm part. And for that, I'm going to demonstrate that with a song by the band Lettuce from a 2015 album. The album is called Crush, and the song is called Chief. And you can find this on YouTube, and I will I'll link to the song. Hopefully it's on YouTube. I'll link to the song in the description of this video so you can play along with that. I'll walk you through the different parts, but in that song, the guitar is really kind of like the foundational rhythmic aspect of the song, the rhythmic foundation, but it is just a single note repetitive riff that is really a great workout for you to work on your rhythm, to play along with this whole song. It takes some endurance, so I'm excited to show you that. It's a great song, and Lettuce is a silly name. Honestly, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, who would call their band Lettuce? But then they're an incredibly funky band. They're still active. They put on an amazing live show. I've seen them a couple of times, and I think that for learning more about rhythm guitar playing, they're a great source to go to. So that's why I picked that song. The second song that I'll go over is a classic funk song, an old James Brown song called The Payback. And that's going to demonstrate the more chordal rhythm side of funk rhythm guitar. And this song has a repeating guitar part that just plays over and over throughout the whole song. And it really is a typical kind of funk guitar riff, and I think that it inspired this particular guitar part. I think inspired a lot of funk guitar going forward from that moment. That's called The Payback, again, from a 1973 album also called The Payback. So I'm going to start by showing you the Lettuce song, and then we'll go into the James Brown song. But I want to kind of emphasize that this is a basic kind of subdivision of guitar parts that I think about when I'm going to put parts onto someone's recording, onto a record, or if I'm playing live and I'm looking for something to do, or looking for a part to play that's not clearly defined. I'll take these two different concepts, more of a riff-based approach and then maybe a chordal-based approach, and I'll put them together, putting like a riff and then mixing in some chords, or sometimes I'll do one or the other. And depending on the scenario, you might find this useful as well. Another place where this is extremely useful is when you're playing with another guitar player. Oftentimes you can divvy up the parts based on these two categories. So anyway, it applies to different genres. You can hear this in lots of different genres, but I thought this would be helpful, so I'm going to start with the Lettuce song. So again, it's called Chief, and it's from the album Crush, which is a 2015 album. It's the third track on the album, and let's jump in. So for this song, I'm playing my Telly Bucker, and this is a guitar that I built to sound more or less like a Les Paul, because while I do like Les Pauls, I prefer the body style and the feel of playing a Telecaster over any other guitar, really. So I I put this together with PAF pickups and a short scale Gibson neck and mahogany body just to kind of imitate the sound of a real classic Les Paul sound. And the reason I'm using this one is because the rhythm player in Lettuce plays a Les Paul, and so he's got that fat humbucker sound. So for this one, I thought this would be the right guitar. So the song is in the key of D, kind of D minor, and the riff begins on D here on the 5th string. And this riff is going to be contained mainly on the low strings, and the song starts with the guitar riff, so you can hear it right off the bat. And I'll play it slow once, and then kind of talk you through it, and then we'll talk through the form of the song and a couple of the different riffs that come in at different points throughout the song. So the riff goes like this. And it starts on beat 1. So 1. Up to speed, it sounds like this. And so what I'm doing, I'm going D, C, A, G, F. Just down a straight pentatonic scale. D minor pentatonic. And then it hits the open E string before bouncing back up to the G. And that open E string is kind of short. It's kind of like a ghost. It's slightly muted or almost a ghost note, but it's in there. So, and then it goes down up on the G, and then the blue note, that G sharp or A flat, before going to A and then back up to C. And that's the whole riff. It's a 1-bar pattern. So and I find it pretty important when I'm doing this to keep my picking directions pretty true to just down, up, down on the 1, down on the 1, you know, and moving up and down in 16th notes. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down. And notice I'm skipping. I'm not alternating every one because of the rhythm of the riff. It's 1 E and 2 E and because that's on the or the 4th subdivision. Each 1st and 3rd subdivision I'm going to be picking up if I'm playing on that subdivision. Each 2nd and 4th subdivision I'll be picking, each 1st and 3rd I'll be picking down, and each 2nd and 4th I'll be picking up. So the 1 is a down, the E is an up, the and is a down, the is up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that is square one. That's the beginning of the riff, beginning of the song. The guitar plays that by itself first, bass joins it, and then the band joins in, and they riff out on that for a little bit before the melody starts. And you'll hear in the recording when the melody starts, the horns come in with a distinctive melody line that you'll hear. Then once the melody begins, that riff continues. And this whole form is basically a type of blues form. It's a little bit extended, but you'll see what I mean. It goes from the 1 chord, and it stays on the 1 chord for 8 bars once the melody starts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, And then just like a normal blues pattern, it goes to the 4 chord. And this time the riff just moves to the next string, up in pitch, but down in, terms of relation to the floor. So we go down to the 4th string and we do the exact same riff. And it does it twice, but the second time on the 4 chord, the ending changes slightly to bring us back to the 1. So again, the 1 chord, it goes 8 times on the riff once the melody begins, and then it goes to the 4 chord, starting on G on the 4th string. Same exact pattern as we did before. And then the second time goes like this. So instead of completing the full riff the second time on the 4 chord, it does a little walk back into the D on the 5th string. So from the 4 chord, it's so then we're back to the 1 chord. And then it does that walk up here again. So it kind of does the same pattern it did on the 4 chord, but back on the 1 chord this time. So it does the full riff one time. And then it does that same walk up from G to G sharp, whereas before on the 4 chord we had gone C to C sharp to go back up to D. Here we're going to go G to G sharp to an A note. And this brings us to the 5 chord of our blues pattern. And on the 5 chord, it's just a 1 and 2. So it's 8th notes, 1 and 2, and then a break for the rest of that bar and 1 extra bar. So I'll do that in time, just the 5 chord rhythm. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. And this time there's a walk up. So I'll demonstrate that again so I can more clearly show you the rhythm of that walk up. So the 5 chord lasts for 8 measures. So that means you're going to play that 8th note pattern 4 times. And on the 4th time, the last time, you're going to go 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and that is a dotted 8th note pattern beginning on the and of 1. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then you're back on the 1 with the riff. That may have been a little quick, so let me slow it down a little bit so you can understand what I mean. So a dotted 8th pattern, dotted 8th note would be the length of an 8th note plus a 16th note. So if I go from 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... I kind of pause there at the end, but I'll do that one more time. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a... We're back into the riff. And so that makes up the full pattern of the melody. So let me just play the B section once so that you can kind of hear it up to speed. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1. And then we're back into the riff. And it's going to go back around on that initial riff for a while it vamps into the melody again. So I'll play the full pattern, but I just want to make a note of this type of rhythm part is I think you can see why I call it a riff part or a single note rhythm part. It is clearly not a lead part. It's not really a melodic part. It's really setting a rhythmic foundation for the whole song. And I think that the guitar player who plays most of the rhythm parts in this band is one of the primary writers, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was a song that he wrote and wrote this riff, and then the horns and everybody added their parts on top of it, and it really does have that sound. So I'll play the full pattern, just beginning at where the melody starts. So there's a whole introduction where the riff repeats on the one chord, but this will be where the melody begins. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So there is the full pattern. I played the riff twice at the end because when they come out of it the first time, like I said, they go back to kind of the introduction where they're playing that one chord for a little bit longer before going back into the melody. So there are two other riffs in this song. Once you get through the second melody, it goes right into a fantastic guitar solo. I really, really love the guitar solo on this track. But the rhythm guitar part continues throughout the guitar solo. So when you go to play along with this, and that would be my suggestion after we go through these songs, find them on YouTube and just sit down and try to play the whole song, because it's going to be a bit of an endurance exercise. And the guitar part, the rhythm guitar part that I showed you on the one chord, just keeps going throughout the whole solo. They just stick on the one chord for the whole solo. But then partway through the solo, you'll hear that the rhythm guitar part and the lead guitar part and the bass all lock up on the same new riff, and this is a pretty cool little moment in the song. So I'm going to show you that riff, and it's based still on just D minor pentatonic, and it goes like this. I'll do it slowly first. Fast, it sounds like this. So fun little riff, and I'll kind of dive into that. So from here, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's part one of this new riff. Again, 1. And again, I just want to mention this because this is crucial to getting your rhythm right, is just, your ups and downs should be aligned to the 16th notes, the first and third 16th notes of a beat should be down strums, down picks. The second and fourth should be up picks. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. The second half of the riff is similar, but it starts the same, but then changes. It goes. So instead of going back to the D, I'm going to flatten out this first finger to play F on the fourth string. I'm going to end off the riff going down the pentatonic scale to the sixth string. So second half of it. Rhythm is the same. The notes just changed. So first half. Again. A little faster. 2, 3, 4. And up to the tempo, where I think the tempo is at. 3, 4. So that riff happens partway through the guitar solo, and when you're listening to that to it, you'll hear where it comes in, and then they repeat that for a while. Guitar keeps ripping over top, and then they go into the B section again. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm calling it the B section. I've kind of called it multiple things, but it's like the 5 chord of the form. But it's where you do the A note, wait, and then 1, 2, and here I'm going to do the walk up. 2, 3, 4, 1. And if I didn't, I don't think I described that walk up. You probably see what I was doing before, but it was just A, B flat, B on the 6th string, and then I'm shifting back to C, C sharp, and then landing on D where I begin the riff again, the original riff. And so at that point, we hit the melody again, including, I think it does go back to the, actually I don't think it's the full one. It hits the melody again, and but it might just stay on that one part of the riff. I'm actually not recalling correctly, but there's one more riff. You'll be able to hear that when you listen to it, play through it, and then it goes to an outro riff. So that's the last thing I'm going to show you from this song, and it's a pretty fun, cool little outro riff that the whole band kind of locks in on, and that brings the song to a close. So I'll play it for you. I'm going to count it, so you count the first beat just so you can hear where it starts. It does not start on the 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. So this is the outro riff. After we've come out of the guitar solo, had a little melody for a minute, then we have the outro riff. So 1, 2, 2 E and da, 2 E and da. So 1 E, 2 E and da. That's a dotted quarter note followed by a 16th note. ba ba, and that's C D. 1E and a 2E and a doo doo. 1E and a 2E and a 3. I didn't count that very well. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4. So that was 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4. 1E and a doo da boo da. So 1E and a doo da boo da. Then da da da. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 4E and 3E and a 4E and a 4E and so obviously I went up the fourth string, F, G, C, D. So 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and 3E and a 4E and is another dotted quarter followed by an eighth note, but it's a dotted quarter rhythm to the and of 4. So the outro riff, the first half looks like this: 1E and a 2, 1E and a 2. So the second ending is second part of it. The last half of the second part and the last half of the first part are different rhythms. Just make note of that. So 1, 2, and 2 and 1 and a 2 and here's the second half one. Second half of the whole riff has a different ending. Very similar, but it adds this little swanky kind of flutter. And the way I'm doing that is just with my third finger, doing a quick wiggle, sliding up a half step and back down, then playing F, D, C, D. So, might want to practice that a few times. So the first half. Again. Second half. Oh, crap. So first half. Second half. I'll do that real slow once. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. And that repeats until the end of the song, and the band locks up on that to close the song. So that is the Lettuce song, and like I said a couple times, it's a great endurance exercise for you to just kind of turn on the song, try to play through the whole thing. It'll take you a little bit from what I've showed you to discern exactly when the different changes come in, but I think that's a good exercise for you to build up your rhythm skills. What you want to focus on when you're playing both of the songs that I'm showing you today is you really want to focus on your time feel. You want to lock into the rhythm of the band. You want to listen to the way the guitar is playing his rhythm, not just the notes he's playing. Once you've got the notes down, the real work is in focusing on your note placement. Where do your notes fall in the beat? And are you in the pocket? And the pocket is just a music slang term for, are you landing in the place where you're not rushing the note, meaning you're not playing on top of the beat, you're not slowing down by playing too far behind the beat, you're right in the nice little pocket where the rhythm feels the best. And pocket is extremely important. it's very subtle, but it's important because you can play all the right notes, but if your time feel is off, you will not sound as good overall. Just in general, this is true across the board. Your time feel is the number one thing to work on to make yourself sound better as a player. So, an exercise like this is a fantastic workout in improving your time feel, really working on hearing the rhythm that's being played by the band. Listen to the guitar part when you're playing through it and try to match the time feel that he is playing with, because he's got a great time feel, and so does this band. Has this stacked lineup: amazing drummer, amazing bass player, amazing horns, the whole 9 yards, amazing keyboards. So the time feel of this band is right on. So that's why I wanted to show you this. If you haven't heard of Lettuce before, they're a really fun band. Even, I like to put them on when we have some friends over. It's just really good time, fun time funk music. So if they're new to you, I hope you enjoy it. And so now I'm going to move on from that song onto the James Brown song, and I'm going to switch guitars here. It's going to be a little poppy noise because I'm not going to put it on standby. Oh, no pop. And the reason I'm going to switch here is because the James Brown song is, to my ears, very much a single coil kind of sound. It's more of a slanky funk guitar sound. So if I was playing it live, I might play my Telecaster, but it's possible I would get out my Strat for this, but for today I'm going to play it on my Tele. And this song, like the other one, has a couple of parts, and there are two primary guitar parts in the recording, different guitar players. So there's like two guitar players, I guess, playing at the same time. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of combine those two parts to create a cohesive part, which is what I've done when I've performed this song live. So I'm going to show you the way that I would play it live. I'm not going to do exactly what each guitar part is doing on the record verbatim, but it's going to be very close, and it's going to take the important pieces of part A and part B and put them together into a chordal part. Whereas the song we just finished, that song was a riffing part, so this is kind of like the counterbalance to that style of part. This is going to be a very repetitive rhythm part. So I'm going to tune up, and we'll jump right in just a moment. Okay, so now we're going to head to 1973, The Payback by James Brown, album by the same title. And I don't know, if you're not familiar with this song, it's a treasure. It really is. There's some really just classic James Brown isms and sayings in this song, some screeching, and it's just great. So I've loved this song for a very long time, performed it live, and it's just a blast. And this guitar part, like I said, is like, I think it set the foundation for a lot of funk guitar playing going forward from there, because it was kind of seemingly like this is one of the earlier times where you hear, for me, where I heard this kind of this funky chord, which you hear all the time in funk music, after this. So this was, James Brown, of course, was groundbreaking in funk music and R&B, and just a lot of great treasures in the James Brown library, a lot of great guitar playing, and the best thing about it is that the music, the parts are so tight. Everyone in the band is playing their part, and they're playing it to a T, and that's how James liked it, and they're really just digging into the rhythm, the pocket, like I was talking about earlier, and creating such an amazing groove that it's just kind of undeniable. If you like this kind of music, this song is definitely up there, and James Brown, of course, is kind of the king of this type of song and groove and style. So the beginning of the song, it's a long song. It's about it's almost 8 minutes long, but there's only a couple of parts. It just repeats the same guitar part for the most of the song. But at the beginning, there is an introduction, lasts about a minute, and the guitar is doing kind of a fun thing. This isn't the main riff that I wanted to show you, but I'll just show you this intro because it's kind of a cool little guitar part. And the guitar on the intro has a little wah pedal going on, and you'll hear that wah guitar part going throughout the song in the response to the main part that I'm going to show you. But I'm just going to show you this intro. It does a little walk up, and those notes. The song's in B flat minor, so I'm here on the 6th fret, barring across the 2nd and 1st strings, and these little dyads or 2-note chords happen on the end of 2, so it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And where we're going from the 6th fret is just up to the 9th fret, then to the 11th fret, and all of those are just barred across the 2 strings because these are perfect fourth. And then the last one we're going to play, it's a third. It's a major third. That'd be the 13th fret on the 1st string and the 14th fret on the 2nd string. And that's just kind of walking up, staying within the pentatonic scale. So pentatonics are king. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. And so that's the little motif he's playing with at the beginning. And then there's a little build with the band where they go from like a B flat to a D flat to an E flat. There's a little horn line, builds up, and then the groove really drops. So you'll hear that when you listen to it. You go through that little walk up a couple times, and then B flat minor, D flat, E flat, 2, 3, and then it drops, and we're into the groove, which is going to last the better part of 8 minutes. Well, 7 minutes now. So I'm going to show you this little groove thing, and what I did there, like I said, is I combined part A with the response from part B to create kind of a one guitar player way of playing this thing. So part A basically goes like this. It's a B flat minor 6 chord. So you've got your natural 6, the G natural on top on the 2nd string at the 8th fret. We've got the 6th fret on the 3rd string, which is a D flat, the minor 3rd of the B flat chord. We've got our B flat down here on the 4th string. So this is omitting the 5th of the chord. We've got the 1, the flat 3, and the natural 6. Kind of a Dorian sound, very typical sound for funk music. You almost never hear a natural minor 6 because you'll hear that I'm sorry if that was confusing, natural minor being where you have a flat 6. But the natural 6 is Dorian minor, or like the 2nd mode of the major scale. It's not super important to know all that the theory behind that, but just you should know that that note is funky. This note, not funky. So we've got this pattern I'm doing, rhythm pattern. Again, just like when I was riffing on that last song, my down and up strums are locked into the 16th notes. 1, 2, and so I'm going down, up, down, up, down, down. And on those two downs there, notice my pinky, this guy, shifted up a half step to get the flat 7. From the B flat minor 6 to the B flat minor 7. The important thing here is the notes that you're hitting and the muting in between, because that's where you get the funk from. So to do the muting, I'm doing left-handed muting. So basically, I'm just pushing down just a very short amount of time right when I want to strike that note. So I'm just kind of, with my right hand, I'm accenting the down, up, down, up, down, down. I'm accenting that with this hand, but I'm not doing any muting with my palm or anything. The muting is happening over here, where I press down on the beat, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and actually. So I'm pressing down each time I want the chord to sound out, and in between I'm keeping my hand position exactly the same. I'm not like pulling it off and doing this. I'm just letting these fingers let the strings off of the neck so that I'm still touching them, but if I play them, it sounds like this. So this is crucial to get that muting down. So I'm going to demonstrate again. I'll do it slow. And that is most of part A. In the recording, if you listen in stereo, you can hear they've got one guitar pan to one side, one to the other side, and you can hear part A, the guy playing part A continues, what I'm calling part A, he continues by doing some scratching, while part B kind of takes over the guitar space by going. This is a third, a minor third at the 9th fret of the 2nd string and the 10th fret of the 3rd string. I'm kind of hitting that hard and letting it fall down to the 6th fret on the 2nd and 3rd string. And this, then I'm going down to that B flat again. So this is putting me back into the same kind of basic position I was in with my B flat minor 6, except if I drop my pinky and I bar here on the 6th fret instead on the 2nd string, that's a B flat minor triad. So in the process of playing this, I've kind of played a B flat minor triad, but just split up. 3rd, 3rd, root note. So that's kind of the response. And you'll hear that that part is still in that kind of wah tone that was present in the introduction. So I'm going to put those together, the beginning of part A with a little ending from part B, and it's going to sound like this. So I'll slow that down and do it again. 3, 4. I'll go through the strumming directions of where I'm actually striking the notes, because I'm keeping obviously my hand moving, and I'm still scratching in between the chords at the A part. But I'll go through the strumming directions. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. 1 E and a 2 E and. So down. And that's the guitar part. And besides a couple of places where James calls out for the hits, that's the whole bag. So there are a couple of separate hits that I'll go over in just a minute, but I'm just going to kind of groove this for just a second just to show you one more time. Ready, and... So that just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats until you'll hear James cry out for the hits. And the first hit is like this. So I'm playing it just like a D flat power chord. 1, 2, and then you'd recognize this chord as the like sharp 9 and F sharp 9, but I'm just playing the top 3 notes. That would be the 7th fret on the 4th string, 8th fret on the 3rd string, and the 9th fret on the 2nd string. F7 sharp 9. And then I'm going down to an F7, which keeps 2 of the same notes, but I have to change my fingering. So I take this finger off, I shift these 2 to where the other 2 were, so 7th fret of the 4th string with my 2nd finger, 8th fret of the 3rd string with my 3rd finger, and then my 1st finger is going to hit that F, 6th fret on the 2nd string, so when he calls for the hit, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and guess what's next? So, and so on and so on. So that is the first hit. When he calls for the next hit, it's a little bit different. And I'm just going to show you what the bass does in these last 2 hit scenarios. The second of which happens a couple times towards the end of the song. So the next time, so the second hit after this one, I'll call that the first hit. The second hit goes just like that. The bass plays those notes, and I don't really hear the guitar playing that. He could be playing the same thing as bass, or maybe he laid out for that, or maybe I just couldn't hear what he's doing because it's underneath the horns and everything that's happening. But that's just B flat on the 6th string, up to D flat on the 5th string, and then D flat to E flat, and it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then James screeches a bit while you go back into. And continue with that. And the last couple of times that he calls for the hits are the same thing from the horn perspective, but the bass plays different notes. So I'm just going to show you the different notes that the bass plays. It's very simple. same rhythm that we just did as this one, except for on these ones, the bass just goes B flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, and then back into the riff. So you got your intro with your little things on the end of 2. Then you've got your build. The beat drops. You're into your riff. The first hit. Back in. The next hit. Back. Next hit. And then that last hit repeats again. And you're off towards pretty much the end of the 8-minute rodeo that is the Payback. A very fun song. I love that song. So that, is a great example of this chordal rhythm style that you hear in funk music, but it's not, you get good at this, you're going to improve your timing, you're going to be better at playing rhythm guitar in any style. It doesn't really matter. If you improve your funk timing and getting good at these mutes, you're just going to be more expressive with the way that you can play rhythm guitar parts. I'm going to zoom back out to finish off here. Okay, so those 2 styles of rhythm parts, I think, are just foundational to helping you kind of understand what to do in certain scenarios, what to listen for when you're learning a song. There's often multiple guitar parts in a single song, and I can think of other examples of songs across different styles where you have one guitar playing a riff part and the other guitar is playing a chordal part. You also might have songs where there's only riffs happening, like 2 different guitars playing riff type things. You might have multiple chordal things going on. There's a lot. You can mix and match these things however you want, and of course people do. So it's not a hard, fast rule that you've got one riff part and one chordal part, but you do often hear these different types of parts interplaying in music, and can be a great way to approach putting down recordings, like coming up with parts for recording or coming up with a part to play live. Or if you're just playing by yourself, just for the enjoyment, this is just a great way to enjoy music more by challenging yourself. I do think that these songs are challenging to play all the way through, and it's not because they're so, virtuosic, technical, soloing stuff. It's really how good is your time, and how consistent are you, and how good is your endurance, because when you're playing an 8-minute song where you're playing the same thing for at least 6 of those minutes, 7 of those minutes, that takes some endurance. I think that the Lettuce song, particularly for me, like when I get to the end of that one, I feel a little bit of burn in my arm, and I play guitar all the time. I play guitar for a living, so it's great. I really enjoy this. I think that you will enjoy it too. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that, but I appreciate people that watched my last video. Trying to keep rolling on this. I didn't wait another year to make another video, so that's positive. And I've got, I think my next thing I want to do is kind of talk to you guys through some tone ideas that I have, kind of how I set up my tones and everything. So that is what I'm planning to do next. We'll see what actually happens, but I appreciate you watching this. If you made it to the end, that's impressive, because this is kind of long. But I'm not shying away from doing longer form content now, so it's just kind of going with it and seeing what happens and who it connects with. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Visit my website, practicemakesbettermusic.com. Have all my lessons there. Have all of them on YouTube. And until next time, practice hard and remember to enjoy yourself. So enjoy the journey, because that's really the payoff here, is just enjoying the process of getting better at music, and just remembering that music is for everybody at any level that you choose to participate and enjoy it at. So that's all for now.